We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police.
Watch Kamala.
It's to fund the police.
Oh, see?
Fund them.
Kamala and Nancy stand up, and they're Democrats, and then you got Republicans right here standing up and clapping. One Kamala and Nancy stand up, corporate party.
You want to hear this? This is after the cops had run over people.
So we have a group of people blocking traffic on Albany and Dean Street. They're refusing to let the orange go eastbound on Dean Street and Albany. So we're stuck here. Run them over. Shut the motherfucker. Don't put that over yet.
What the fuck? Take a quick look at this segment, because there's something he shows here that I don't think a lot of people have been paying attention to.
People are listening because citizens have police scanners and they can hear what you really think, dummy. Hey, you fucking depraved animal. People are going to know we're depraved animals now. Don't put that out over the air. Don't put that out over the air. We're depraved animals. You know that, right?
Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
See how much money they spend on cops? Look at it. It keeps going up and up and up. From Obama. From Obama. Look at all that money.
I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Defund the police on the road to abolishing them.
We see the citizens we're supposed to be serving as the enemy because that's how we're trained. And half of us are hopped up on steroids. We got roid rage. The other half of us are just depraved white supremacists and wife beaters.
Right, nobody's gonna question you. So they feel like they can go around our community and do whatever the fuck they want to us, bro.
So 2017, Barack Obama, he increased funding by 1.07 billion.
Like, what the fuck?
You know, people don't understand what reduces crime.
Since when? Since when has the police ever stopped crime?
What reduces crime is healthcare, jobs, good economy, good schools. That's what actually reduces crime. More cops just increases our incarcerated population.
We are the most propagandized country. Our country is so propagandized. We literally imprison 1/4 of the world's prison population, but we somehow convince people we are the land of the free. How the hell did they do that?
Like, what the fuck?
2018, Trump increased funding by 1.14 billion.
Like, what the fuck?
No, the government convinced white people through propaganda that the black people are the criminal, and then white people are fine with all the brutality, they're fine with the police state being funded, they're fine with all of that stuff.
2019 increased funding by 1.17 billion.
If you just complied, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Did you know that stop and frisk, which basically a lot of this was, only led to 1% of the people being stopped and frisked to being arrested? That means 99% of the time, every single person that was stopped and frisked was innocent.
Like, what the fuck?
2020 increased funding by 1.23 billion.
Like, what the fuck? What world are we living in?
The world you created, mouth-breathing fucking maniac. What world are we living in? The world you created. Out of control terrorists like you fucking...
That damn blue line is thin for a reason. It can be snapped with logic, man.
2021 increased funding by 1.32 billion.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, isn't the point of policing public safety? So do you guys realize that we spend 3 times more on the NYPD than North Korea does on their military budget? and you guys don't feel safe?
And they don't feel safe.
How much money do the police need to have for you to feel safe at home?
And then we go right here to Joe Biden, increased funding, 1.28 billion.
What the fuck?
And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because it goes to show you that at the end of the day, both Democrats and Republicans support the police state.
That's what this is. You will respect my authority. Treat me with respect.
These motherfuckers are serial killers.
They take care of their own.
Some of these police officers have more than 5 fucking bodies. 5 bodies on their fucking belt. That's a real killer. What the fuck?
If you're a populist, if you're for the working class people, the police state is our #1 enemy. They steal more resources from us via the civil asset forfeiture than criminals do. Do you guys know that?
People are angry. People are ready to rise up. And I honestly believe that is why They want to give the police more money because they know what's coming. He wants to make it so that, as much as he likes to tout support for what happened with George Floyd, he wants to make it clear he's going to be sure that nothing like that will ever happen again.
Hello, my friends, my family. We are back once again. What a great video. What a great video by my friend Joe. That is ST. Here he is right here. He always make these great videos. I call that RBN and Jimmy Dore against the police state. And that was brilliant because that has been one of my primary concerns as an independent journalist, especially as a Black network. That's been something that we've been focused on. You have so many people who consider themselves anti-establishment. They consider themselves populist, but they have a blind spot on this position. Like I catch so many of these libertarian people do this, where they claim they anti-establishment, but they support the blue line. Who do you guys think is the enforcer of capitalism, enforcer of imperialism? They will always side with the state. And as Marxists, as people who are cognizant and fighting for the working class, these are the people we're supposed to oppose. That's why I can have great conversations with Jimmy Dore, because Jimmy, unlike the boutique left, like people you see in TYT, who straight up, they produce propaganda because they're class loyal. So we may not agree on everything, but there are core tenets to what it takes for what I define what it means to be on the left, right? Anti-imperialism, advocating for the working class, and especially right now, fighting the police state, fighting the prison industrial complex. That should be one of our primary concerns. That's why I have a good time ranting with Jimmy. Also going to bring our friend and honorary RBN member, as I always like to say. Also one of the people I love to rant with. I always like to do these at least once a month. How you doing, Misty?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be back. I always get really excited because ranting with you is fun, and there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a ton to talk about.
Yeah,
a ton that we have been vindicated on.
yeah.
Misty, fantastic organizer, does a lot of great work for Assange. And we're going to bring up the poll that Elon Musk did. And a lot of the change in public perception is because of the activists, people on the ground, people like Misty who put the work in, right? Misty has also been one of the people that have been calling out Bernie, AOC in the squad, and the imperialist NATO leftist. So I know you feel very vindicated on that.
They're strike breakers now. Now they're breaking off strikes. But I'm the asshole. We're the asshole, Nick. It's us. We're the problem. Not the people who are breaking up strikes and shit. Oh.
How dare we call those people out instead of people who actually turn their back on the working class? We've been warning people about DSA for a while, but go ahead, Misty.
But yeah, like we used to give a shit because, fraud squad, they're not blah, blah, blah. What do you expect them to do? Well, I don't expect them to break up strikes, for sure. For sure. I think that's like bare minimum, right? I figure that would be bare minimum. It's not.
I thought that the least they can do. Because one of the early warning signs is their inability to get basic issues correct.
They haven't done anything. Nothing.
Their inability to get very easy to get right issues like Julian Assange, for example. Like there's clear red flags when it came to the squad. You've been pointing it out, and I want to dive right into our first story because we got a lot to talk about. We also talk about John Bolton potentially running in 2024. He's probably gonna win over the Liz Cheney liberals, right?
I don't. John Bolton, you guys. John Bolton is threatening to run for president if nobody stops Trump. Like, I'm sorry. Do you think you're better than Trump? Like, John Bolton's worse than Trump. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say John Bolton is worse than Trump.
He just admitted that he was involved in planning coups this year.
Yes.
He said it on camera like nonchalant. Yeah, I got involved in a few countries, destabilized some regions. This is my resume. I destabilized a few countries.
This is what I brag about. Like, this is what I genuinely think shows that I'm right for the job of the presidency, and that I'm, you know what I mean? I'm bragging about coups, and he's it's fucking crazy. Him and Pompeo. Pompeo's gonna run. Pompeo's gonna run, you guys. That's
Jesus
gonna happen too.
Christ.
He's a raging psychopath. That man should not be anywhere near a position of power. He literally drew up plans to murder a journalist because that journalist exposed the corruption and the crazy surveillance going on at the CIA.
Yeah.
You know, that's not somebody. That's worse than Trump. Like, Trump's an idiot. He's a buffoon. He's a racist. He's a sexist. He's a misogynist. He's a narcissist. Did I already say that? He is a narcissist. And he's no, I don't like any of them. But I'm telling you, Pompeo and Bolton, worse.
John Bolton and Pompeo was the voices in the Trump administration that were putting pressure to make sure they go after Julian Assange.
Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He just listens to whoever's around him. You know what I mean? John Bolton and Mike Pompeo, they know what they're doing. They know the system. They know they're worse.
For the most part, that's like all the presidents. They actors. They're the best actor of their class, right?
Yeah.
Like they won the acting popularity contest.
Yeah.
They were chosen. Sometimes they suck and they were just chosen, right?
Yeah, they're all just chosen, but I think some of them are better actors. Like Bush was not very. I mean, he was likable and dumb and kind of, you know, just that goofy. But I don't think he was a very good actor. And I think that's like why like Kamala, like they really wanted her to be president, but she is a horrible actor, you guys. Holy crap, she is so fake, and everything is fake. Her laugh is fake, her smile is fake, the way she speaks is fake. You can tell it's always a script. She never really knows like how to read the script so that it sounds
so bad.
She's awful. Pete Buttigieg, horrible actor, terrible.
Pete Kamala, are you not convinced Pete Kamala is not taking the world by storm?
Come on, the cop and Boy Wonder Spook, and the cop. No, thank you. I will pass.
Jesus
I will pass.
Christ.
They will lose. That
would be the worst ticket of all time. And this is what the hilarious thing about capitalism is that it produces the horrifically incompetent leaders. And I know a lot of countries got corrupt leaders. And I'm not saying these people are not corrupt or whatever, but when you listen to Xi Jinping talk, when you listen to Putin talk, it seems like they understand their ideology. They got clear vision, whether you agree with that or not. Like Putin can talk out the cuff about his ambitions, his foreign policy decisions, his visions, his criticism of the Soviet Union, what you want to do in the future. You know, when you look at Biden and Trump too, these people are literally the product of their advisors. These people they don't have no vision for the world.
No.
Do you think Donald Trump is sitting here pondering the situation between Israel and Palestine?
Joe Biden is making zero decisions. He can't even find his way like off a stage. This dude is not making decisions. I doubt he's picking out his tie every day. Do you know what I'm saying? I know he's not. Like come on, really? You think Joe Biden is making any decision? I don't know if anything could make it more clear, because I've said this for years. It doesn't matter who the fucking president is. It does not fucking matter. And I don't think if anything could make that more obvious, more glaringly obvious than Joe Biden. It doesn't matter who the president is. He's not making any. Do you think Trump made decisions? Of course not. Trump did whatever the people around him said to do. Trump does, you know what I mean? Like, these people aren't actually in charge of anything. They're really not.
There was a lot of
remains the same.
There were a lot of reports on how Trump would like go off and make these random declarations.
Yeah,
and then the military industrial complex would be like, yo, we're not doing that. We're just gonna keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then Trump, because he don't really care, he like they will ignore like stuff he says, and then he don't really care because as long as he get the media points for saying it, he just goes along with his day. And for example, if you guys see U.S. policy in Ukraine, when you see the escalations on China, do you think that Joe Biden stand in front of a whiteboard looking at all the pieces? Like, yeah, I think we should escalate in Taiwan. No, he is highly medicated, barely functioning, and all his foreign policy advisors, all the people, all the swamp, the unelectable swamp that we cannot get out of our government.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
no
just
matter
puppets.
Yeah.
They are literally puppets. They are not making any decisions. They are the figurehead. You're right. I say it all the time. Like, our electoral, our politics is essentially just a soap opera with psychopaths. That's all it is. Like, they don't actually hate each other. I'm sure that I have no doubt that there are cliques. It's probably like high school. It's probably like high school with psychopaths. I'm sure there are cliques. There are people that like each other better than others, but the two teams are not actually working against each other. They are owned and operated by the exact same people. They don't even read the bills they pass, y'all. They get them and 2 hours later have a vote. 500-page bill. 2 hours later, you got to vote. They don't read the bills. The lobbyists write the bills. They tell the different politicians how they're going to vote on the bills. I think it was Justin Amash one time revealed that they actually get like little scripts from the lobbyists, and that's what they read when you see the things on TV where they're arguing about the different bills. They're not. It's all very fake. None of these people are making decisions. And they certainly aren't working for you.
Yeah, they say Washington D.C. is Hollywood for ugly people. I think, and there's definitely some truth for it in that because,
Yeah.
like, I will say that it's like Hollywood for the children of the elite, the bourgeoisie class. Like, who's the best at winning these popularity contests? And that was what really pissed the liberal class off about Donald Trump is that this inexperienced, uncoached elite outdid them and won their popularity contest and embarrassed all their favorite people on the Republican side. He embarrassed Hillary Clinton so many times. So
yeah,
that's the real reason. Not any ideological differences.
No.
That's why Donald Trump didn't pardon Julian Assange.
Well, he's just a coward.
Yeah, he's a coward. He don't have any ideology.
No.
And Elon Musk has been taking a lot of pressure. RBN, I want to say once again, we got this correct. We got this correct as well. I want to see if I can find this tweet I posted earlier in like April. Well, I was like, if you guys think that Elon Musk,
I probably call it too.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I had to boast about this one because I told you guys, like people who put faith in these billionaires. I said, this is April 14th. I said, if you really think Elon Musk taking over Twitter will stop socialist and anti-imperialist voices from being censored, you are out of your fucking mind. People who really think Elon, we will coup whoever we want, Musk will stand up for anti-imperialist voices or clowns of the highest order. And I still remember, look, I tweeted this in April, right? I remember when I tweeted, people like, come on, man, you need to give Musk some credit.
No, I don't. I absolutely do not have to give Elon Musk any credit. None. I really don't have to give him any credit at all. If he does something worthy of credit, like if he actually stopped censoring people and stopped suspending people for arbitrary reasons and stopped playing the arbiter of speech and truth, and stopped being a billionaire douche canoe who exploits people for his own personal benefit, then maybe I'll give him. I try to give credit where it's due, wherever. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I fuck it up sometimes. But even people I don't like, if they do something good, like when Sarah Palin came out in defense of Julian Assange, I was like, man, I really don't like her, but cool. You know what I mean? Like Ryan Graham hates me, trashes me on Twitter. When he does a good segment on Julian Assange, I share it. You know what I mean? I invite him to my things. Like I try to be consistent in that.
What's up with that, man? Because I guess because you came out early against AOC and Bernie and them that they don't like you because
I think that's a little bit of it.
Anyway.
Well, and they are very much in the respectability circle of politics.
Yeah, like you don't play that shit.
I don't, because it doesn't work. It doesn't, like me kissing AOC's ass is not going to get me healthcare. And I'm not saying that me being an asshole to her is going to get it either, because she doesn't care. She doesn't care what any of us say or think. But I do think that we have to break the spell that people have with electoral politics and we have celebritized politicians. You know what I mean? Like I've said it before. I call them celebriticians. We don't have a functioning political system, and we need to break people of the delusion that we do, because so many people are so invested in this, and they think that if we just vote a little bit harder, we might get a public option. How long they've been talking about that? How long are you willing to wait? People are dying. Like, I mean, I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but legitimately people are dying. They're, waging wars all over the globe, occupying different countries, stealing everybody's resources, murdering their own people at home through lack of healthcare and poisoned water and police brutality and all. And we're all just standing around like, if we just vote a tiny bit harder, I bet we might be able to get Nina Turner in there. And then maybe we can get a committee to form, a tribunal, to have another meeting to maybe see if we can get a floor vote on a public option. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in that. I don't want to play that game.
You sound like a red brown right winger to me. No, don't you know that we should embrace incremental politics?
Yeah, right.
Incremental politics, and only within the scopes that the Democratic Party will allow us to. That's the modern message of the squad. And then people like us who criticize them, they say, "Oh, well, you just only making this criticism because you're a grifter or whatever." Like,
Dude, I
Jesus
still,
Christ.
this is still pisses me off. Oh, pisses me. Yo, I don't take any money for this.
Right.
$0 the whole time. I'm so sick of this. The whole time I've been doing shows. I've been doing, the only time I raise money, the only time I have ever raised, I have 2 Patreons. One, they asked me to make, they're the one that asked me to make a Patreon a couple years ago. I had, like, I never talk about it. Don't tell anybody it exists. And then somebody else happened to find it. So I have 2 Patreons. I don't know how long I've had them, but I've had 2 Patreons for a little while now. I take $0, $0 fucking dollars. Enough with the grifter thing. It's just not accurate. There are plenty of things to criticize me about.
Yeah,
The
it's
grifter thing,
CIA
you
shit.
can't come anywhere near me with it. You cannot. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to make sense. It's like if you criticize my favorite politician, you're a grifter.
Well,
That-
and listen,
that's
can
really
I
what they
can I
say.
bring it a little bit longer? Because people like Nick who do take money for their work, that's not grifting. They're trying to make a living in a capitalistic society by bringing you content. Nobody's forcing you to donate. Nobody's forcing you to be his Patreon. It's a choice that people that watch his show make because they appreciate the things that he's doing. That does not equal grifter. Shut the fuck up.
The definition of a grifter is someone who says stuff and make money by selling a product that they don't believe in, selling same stuff that you don't believe in. And you want to know who's a grifter? Bernie Sanders. This will make people pissed. But when you say you're going to wage a political revolution and you take people's money, saying that you're going to do something that you know you're not going to do, that's an example of a grift. So someone making money being an independent journalist or whatever business they want to engage in is not grifting.
No.
Anyway, we all know this. It's CIA bullshit that people.
Yes,
that people
it is.
say.
But anyways, I just checked my Twitter because I was curious, and I have in fact been calling Elon Musk out since at least 2018.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm very proud of our community because our community we don't fall for this bullshit.
Well, listen, I'm not saying that I'm
but
perfect. I don't want to make that because people be like, oh yeah, because you're just so. No, I'm not. But like, I've been taking shit for calling him out for years. Like hardcore, his stands are awful, and I've been taking shit from them for a long ass time, and it turns out I was right. You know what I mean? It's like the squad shit.
These rabid Elon fans are like the biggest class.
They're
traders.
awful, dude.
They're the biggest class traders out there.
They are so delusional. They're like, oh, he's such a good guy. I'm like, I should post that article. I think it's Alan McLeod wrote an article about Elon and all of his nefarious contracts. He's got contracts with the Department of Defense, the military. He's not a good guy. Really? The guy who wants to put a chip in my brain is the guy I'm cheering for? No, I don't think so.
So for this last year, in order to compete with Jeff Bezos and become richer and increase his brand, he took it on this free speech thing. And like I said in my tweets, like I don't see him standing up for BDS.
No.
I don't see him stand up. Is he talking about the protest that Ron DeSantis is cracking down on?
He's not talking about Julian Assange. He did the poll. 12 years is like, I tweeted in there because he's like, I don't have an opinion, but what do you guys think? First of all, and then he put them together. Shouldn't have done that. 2 separate polls. And then he says pardon. They don't need to be pardoned. They didn't do anything wrong. Charges should be dropped. They should be exonerated. And the people who have gone after them and persecuted them should be investigated and prosecuted. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it needs to be. But no, he says pardon, which is fine. Listen, Elon Musk doing a tweet on Julian Assange got over 3.3 million votes and obviously more views than that. I'm not saying that it's an entirely bad thing that he did it. And shout out to Kim.com for asking him during the spaces that they did. You know, we've been trying to get his, well, I mean, he's probably seen us, but we've been trying to get his attention literally for years.
Yeah, I've been seeing people call like Elon, why don't talk about Assange?
Yeah.
Why don't talk about Assange?
And then people are like, oh, he doesn't have an opinion because he doesn't want to sway the poll. Well, this has been going on for 12 years. Where's he been? He's some free speech warrior, right? He's going to bring us free speech, but he doesn't know about the single most important court case on press freedom that we've ever seen. That's a little, you know what I mean? It's a little weird. It's a little weird. You should have an opinion about this if you care about free speech.
Yeah,
you know,
so,
at least know what's going on. So
yeah, so I get if he don't want to share his opinion on this poll to not manipulate the
where he's been for 12 years.
But he just doesn't ever share his opinion on it. It's not like I understand if you just don't stay in this poll, but people have been asking for him to speak on this for quite some time. And this is like the easiest question. Do you believe in free speech? Okay, where you stand on Julian Assange, right?
Right. And then he keeps going after other people like Apple. Apple pulled their advertising from Twitter, and he was like going after Apple. Oh, you Apple, you don't believe in free speech? Well, do you have a mirror, sir? Because you don't talk about Julian Assange or and you just suspended banned Garland Nixon, has been suspending numerous other journalists and just regular old people. But yeah, he's just, I'm so tired of people pretending like he's something that he's not. It's very frustrating because we don't have time for it. It's a distraction.
I understand. He has class interests, and it's very clear when you hear Elon talk about politics. It's literally the dumbest shit. Like people say he's smart, but he's so like he says stuff like this. He said, "What we have right now, we have a Republican side, we have a Democrat side. One side is far left, one side is far right."
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk is so dumb that he thinks Joe Biden is far left. You guys see what I'm talking about? Like he said stuff like he's like, we need a sensible center because we got two sides that go to the extreme. It's like it's what people who think they smart say, and then people who think that a dumb person smart think is an intelligent breakdown. That's not the reality.
No.
We have two right-wing corporate parties.
Yes.
To pretend that the Democrats are far left and the Republicans the only far right party is ridiculous. And he says this shit all the time.
Yeah, it's beyond ridiculous. Anybody objectively looking at our political landscape can see very clearly Joe Biden is, somebody just said it. Who was that? Somebody said it in the chat. Gamer. Hi, Gamer. He's a fucking conservative. He has been. It's like people talk when he just did this whole railroad thing. Everybody's like, oh, I can't believe the pro-labor president. The pro-labor president? Since when? Dude has been around for 50 fucking years telling you exactly who he is. He's never hidden it. He's Captain Crime Bill, right? He's the TPP guy. He's the Iraq War guy. Like, he's always been behind the worst ideas this country has ever had over the past 50 years. And he's never hidden it. And y'all are still like, oh my God. Joe Biden, you know what I mean? Like the PMCs are all freaking out because I thought he was going to be a pro-labor. No, and y'all yelled at me for bringing this up like before the election. Me calling him out. Oh well, we have to beat Donald Trump. Why? I don't. It doesn't make a difference. Tell me what has changed. Tell me what's better for you under Biden. Tell me what. There's nothing. It's the agenda remains the same. The only thing that changes is the cover on the book. It's a different cover, same book. And the rhetoric may change. The demographic that they pander to may change. But behind the scenes, the rhetoric, the war, the Wall Street stuff, the screwing over the working class, all of that stuff stays the exact same. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter who the president is.
You don't understand now. But when Democrats are in charge, that means suburban liberals can feel proud about their country.
Yeah.
now they can feel. That's literally the only difference. They feel
my team won.
They're proud when Democrat win, and they sad when the Republican win. That's it. So this is the quote unquote smart genius Elon Musk. He literally exploit labor. Everything that came out of Tesla, any brilliant work that he ever done, it came because he stole the idea of an engineer.
Yes.
I know I'm a Marxist. I know I'm biased, but that's what I think. He's not responsible for anything brilliant. And I listen to the guy speak. I listen to his political analysis. I'm like, this guy's clearly a dumbass. And if you're on Twitter, he's been called out by like real-time engineers all the time about being wrong on stuff. So he's not smart. He just stole the labor value of the people beneath him that didn't have the generational wealth.
He's smart in the way that he was able to figure out how to game the system for his own personal benefit.
True.
That does take a level of intelligence, and to be able to manipulate things in that way, and to be able to exploit people in that way, and do it richest guy on earth. So he's got to have at least some level of intelligence, but it's not.
That's true.
That I'm interested
and
in.
he also got the best advisors, the best people who best at playing chess, right?
Yeah.
And I want to read this. Look,
he comes from that. Like
I'm getting a little off track here, but I want to read this.
We always do.
Yeah, we always do. Yeah, I already told you this wasn't gonna be an hour. You told me it wasn't gonna be an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Elon. This is the kind of analysis that you get for Elon. The people that people think he's smart. He said, I strongly supported Obama for president, but today's Democratic Party has been hijacked by extremists.
Show me one who's even like even like left of center. Show me one. There's not one. Like this whole thing the other day where he was like, the far left, and I'm like, far left? We don't even have a leftist in office. There's not a single, like, these DSA chumps who break up, like, I don't think that it's up for debate anymore. Breaking up a union strike, or you know what I mean, like screwing
Yeah.
over. That's, I mean, come on. I know there are still people who are making excuses for that and who are, you know, trying. Oh, this is what they wanted. This is what some of the union bosses maybe told them that they wanted. But I've seen lots of union members who have said it's not what they wanted. They feel betrayed by both parties. So it's not as cut and dry as these other people are making it out to be. And yeah, they're not extremists. No, not even close.
This is done for so many levels.
So many.
So he's like, I used to like the Democratic Party when Obama was in charge. You know, the porter in chief, the drone strike king. But then Jim Crow Joe takes charge. The guy who was his vice president, who's doing the same thing as Obama was doing. Somehow he's extreme, but Obama wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I will make the argument that these people are extreme. All of them are, but not the same reason Elon would say.
No. Yeah, they're extremists in that they're, I mean, and Obama just did what Bush did. I mean, it's all really just a continuation of Reagan. We just had Reagan after Reagan after Reagan after Reagan, and just really getting progressively worse. But yeah, none of these,
the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
None of these people are, because he's implying that the Democratic Party has been taken over by leftist extremists, and there is nothing leftist about Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib. There's nothing leftist about them. Nothing. Not
Elon
really.
Musk is so dumb. He is so dumb. He see Nancy Pelosi kneeling in kente cloth, and he's like, "Oh my God, radical leftist Nancy Pelosi, the woke Nancy Pelosi."
She tore up a speech. You go, girl.
Dude, that is legitimately what Elon Musk thinks. Like I can pull old tweets, but I'll move on just for a second. But he always says stuff like the Democratic Party has gone too woke. He's one of the people that repeat that stuff. So he see Nancy Pelosi kneel in kente cloth. He see the fake bullshit,
the pandering
theater, and pandering from Democrats. He's like, oh my God, these Democrats are woke.
No,
and that's the guy that people think is smart.
I know.
It's
surface level thinking. It's weird to me. But he's like so rich and out of touch that it's not surprising. I mean, he has no clue. You know what I mean?
So let's dive into this poll because I want to get your opinion on this. And I am personally shocked. I want to get your personal opinion on this. Like when I saw that number, I was like, dude, that's better than I thought.
I am very happy it did not. I was, as soon as I heard.
I was wondering what you thought. I was like, because my first reaction, I was like, whoa, that's way better. I don't know if you was like surprised or not. But go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Because listen, there's a lot of fucking anti-Assange trolls and bots on Twitter. Trust me, I deal with them all the fucking time. And I was like, this is gonna get taken. Like, they're gonna blow this up. And I mean, it's hard. So sometimes I think because I'm so deep in it that it's hard to see. I know the support has grown and is growing, but I think it's when something like this comes up, I immediately was like, oh.
If I had to guess before the poll, because of DNC bots, and troll farms and all that stuff, I would have guessed that this would have been 55-45.
That's what I was worried about.
In favor of Assange. I think he would have won, but I thought it would probably have been close.
Yeah.
So I do think this is like, I know this is Twitter polls, but you got 3.3 million votes. And I'm not saying this is the most important thing out there, right? But like, come on, let's have revolutionary optimism. I think this is good. Like, I think it's good.
For sure. Listen, it comes, as I mentioned earlier, I have problems with Elon Musk. I have problems with the way that he did this poll, the way that it's worded, the way that it was put out, all of those things. I mean, there's
a tweet right here. This is a banger.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I tweeted at him like a million things because he said during the Twitter spaces that he just doesn't know enough to have an opinion. And I'm like, really? 12 years? And you're like, you care about free speech and you don't know enough? So I sent him a shit ton of stuff. I sent him like Nils Melzer's article and a link to Nils Melzer's book and a link to Stefania Maruzi's book and a ton of information, right? He probably won't see it, but maybe people that follow him will, right? That's always what I do for this stuff. Somebody with that big of a platform, that big of a following, if he's mentioning Assange, I'm going to blow it up with a lot of Assange stuff. But this one, this was part of my issue with the tweet is neither one of them need to be pardoned. Neither one.
I saw the tweet pretty early on. And I was like, I can't wait to see Missy see this. Because I already knew you was about to go hand with this.
Yeah. You scroll down. There's probably like, I don't know, 20.
Yeah, because Misty shows up on my algorithm pretty often. And this is my take on this because I was like, I know I'm talking shit here, but I was pretty excited to see in the poll.
Yeah.
It was like 20% of the point at a time, but I still have to rub it in against the people who are literally fucking fascists who are against free speech. Like this, this is an easy question to get right.
Yes.
Should
be. It fucking should be. And I realize that like the propaganda game is strong. They've said a lot of crazy shit about Julian Assange. A lot of people honestly don't even know. A lot of people think he's in prison for 2016.
Yeah.
They genuinely think that that's why he's in prison. And that's
But if you look
not
at the
the
liberal
case.
comments, and people say no, I promise you, like maybe
It's about
10,
Russia.
maybe 10 or 12%. That's just a guess of the people who say no. Is like, no, we shouldn't let Julian Assange go free. He's the reason why we got Trump. It's like it has nothing to do.
He's a Russian asset. I mean, that's a lot of people still do that. And
even if he was,
it doesn't matter.
Worst case scenario, let's test your guys' true belief in the Constitution. Even if he was, what are you guys saying? Let's say Julian Assange is a Trump-loving Putin puppet. You guys are saying that we should imprison a journalist because he had political opinions that you guys disagree with.
All he did was publish the truth. 100%. 100% accuracy rate. Never published a word that's ever had to be retracted. And you want to lock that guy up forever, essentially murder him in slow motion because you don't like his politics? You're fucked up. What's wrong with you?
Couldn't you make the argument that it's more unhinged? Like when liberals say that he should go in prison because he's a Trumper. Like at least the neoliberals are like, well, he stole classified documents. They lying, right? But at least they lie and shit. But there are some liberals that's so dumb they don't even go with the neocon lie. They say stuff that just straight up.
My favorite is he's a traitor.
Authoritarian.
My favorite, he's a traitor, Nick. He's not American.
He's not. Yes, they say that all the time.
Really? I get that all the time. It's my favorite. It makes me laugh every time because I'm like, how stupid do you have to be to say that he's a traitor? He's Australian. He has no allegiance. That's another thing. Like, you think that this foreign journalist should be charged under the Espionage Act for publishing truthful information about the United States? He doesn't owe the United States anything. Not a damn thing. And it's the truth. And he's a journalist. And that's what journalists do. They try to find information in the public interest that exposes power and holds power to account. They publish that shit. And he's done it better than anybody. And I mean, people come, oh, see, she's obsessed. She's a cultist. No, that's just the reality of it. I like the truth. I, especially like knowing what I know, and I'm not saying I know everything, but like knowing the levels of corruption that are happening, I want that shit on blast. I want that shit on blast. I think there should be 1,000 WikiLeaks all across the globe doing the exact same thing for the United States. Like Julian Assange is like tiny little operation.
Not because they scared the shit out of people because what they did to Julian.
Yes, and that was the whole point. That's the whole point of what's happening to Julian Assange. It's not so much as about him. I mean, it is. Listen, he really pissed them off, and he embarrassed the shit out of them, right? So they don't like him. Let's not get that twisted. But the truth of it is that he's being used. Like, he's the head on the stake. He's the warning outside the castle walls. They want everybody to take awareness of the fact. Basically, if you come for us, this is what we will do to you. You know what I mean? It's a warning, and it's been very effective. I said this the other day on, I think, Warren's show. Look at the state of journalism, Nick. It's been effective. This has terrified a lot of people. Yeah. I think that there are a lot of stories that are going unwritten because a lot of journalists are really afraid to step out of line. And there are like a few brave, bold people out there, Max Blumenthal, Whitney Webb, Vanessa Beeley. Like, there's a lot of people out there Eva Bartlett, trying to do, I shouldn't have started a list. I always do that. Then I feel bad. Lots of good people trying to do good work, but it's the state of journalism is abysmal. It's bad. It's really bad.
What do you think about this? Because you guys probably have a different thing. I probably have a different thing that you guys think I will have, because I see this, and this is a great example of a capitalist infighting, right? And obviously Elon Musk is dirty, but Elon Musk is starting to annoy other capitalists. Mm-hmm. So now Elon Musk Neuralink is under federal investigation, and I heard about this before because it's been widely discussed among Elon criticism that he's killed a ton of monkeys and other animals because of Neuralink, right? And there's a lot of petty stuff you hear about, but like they never cared to investigate. So like, why now? You guys see how And it was. I'm just theorizing here, and I'm interested in what you think. I think Elon is annoying some members of the capitalist class. He's not a threat to them. Don't get it twisted.
No.
But he's inconveniencing some of their narratives. So because every single billionaire is dirty, because you can't become a billionaire without being dirty. They keep you in line by saying shit like this to you, like, bro, if you keep on pushing our interests, we will hold these stories. We will hold these investigations. What do you think?
Like I said earlier, they're cliques. Like within this little system that we have filled with psychopaths, of course there are cliques. Like there's different friend groups and there's different people that work together more than they all basically hold the same class interests. They're all basically on the same team. They're all unless you're somebody like Elon Musk, you're getting paid by other people, like you're owned and operated by basically the same crowd. But yes, there are definitely cliques within these groups, and Elon Musk has pissed off some of them. And so, yeah, there's like this back and forth stuff. But it's like, impeaching Trump and then, Benghazi. And first of all, it's a distraction. It allows them to have something to do. Now the investigations into like Hunter Biden and the laptop and stuff like that, y'all. Like, okay, cool. Nothing's ever gonna. Power protects power.
Yeah, and I wanted to make that point too. Nothing's gonna come from this.
No,
they just this is just a PR. They're like, oh, I want to get you in the media. Take this
distraction. Yes, it's a distraction. While they got you, arguing over Kanye and Elon Musk, they're still fucking you over. On the regular, like it doesn't like that's not stopping. This is all just a distraction. It's all to keep your they don't have to do anything for you. You're all fighting about who's better and who's worse, whose bad guy is better or where, you know what I mean? It's just so stupid, and the hamster wheel keeps spinning.
And I'm sure that, and I want to emphasize this point, and I'm gonna show you guys the Max Blumenthal clip, which is interesting.
Yeah, Max.
All billionaires are corrupt, and if you did a federal probe, you can find crime on all these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And as soon as Elon inconvenienced them, they're like, all right, let's put a federal. They looked at the Oppo research. They're like, let's get the Elon file.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? Oh, he got some animal torture shit. He probably definitely did, right? Yeah. But I told you, they can do that to anyone. Like, imagine
Chuck Schumer said it on national TV. If you fuck with the CIA, they have 10 ways or 6 ways from Sunday to mess with you back. And that's, y'all, what do you think Epstein was about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're pretending like that's not a thing that they do and that they have shit on every single, they know how to control, they will fuck your life up. You know what I mean? I mean, look what they do to whistleblowers. Look at what they've done to like John Kiriakou and Chelsea Manning, and look what they're doing right now to Daniel Hale. Like, they'll fuck with you. Like, they'll come for you. So yeah, and these people are opportunistic and they don't want to really challenge. People who go into politics do not want to challenge power. They are narcissists. They want to be power. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of person that politics really attracts. Every once in a while, a unicorn may slip through at like the city council level, but you get pushed out of politics very early on if you are not like a kind of a terrible person. Because that's just the system. That's just the nature of the beast. Like, you can't really be in it and see, like, once you get in it and you see how it works, and if you're not immediately like, nope. It's corrupt as fuck, like down to the local levels in most places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And Missy told me, but we're probably gonna have to go 90 minutes because I still got 2 things. I already knew. I should have known.
Let's go.
Should have known that this wasn't gonna be an hour.
This always happens. Somebody in the chat earlier said, "Oh, Misty can talk as much as Nick." Yes.
Well, yeah, easily. Every time me and Misty get together, we're like, let's do an hour, and it never happens.
It's always more.
So let's get to the Max Blumenthal part, because now you see public opinion on Julian Assange because of the activists, and I want to keep highlighting that. We need to inspire people, and we need to get positive confirmation to people who are putting their neck out there. Like, pat yourself on the back. We need to do that. We need to feel good about getting action, because not only that inspire you to do more of that, they can inspire people around you. So yes, you see Ron did good stuff, and what I try to do, I prop him up. We prop him up. Good job, Ron, because we want him to feel good. We want people like, I want to be the next Ron. So there's nothing, and we ask this question all the time. What does your particular strategy, who does that serve? I think that strategy serve the working class. Let's build a positive activist environment instead of people just trying to pull rank and depower activists, right? That you see the boutique left does.
Activists, yes. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
why
You can
y'all-
disagree on tactics and all of that stuff. That's fine. But the minute you start like trashing activists and diminishing other activists, and I don't do that. I don't even like activists. I don't like there's people I don't.
Yeah, it just
like.
rubs me the wrong way. Like, find
Yeah.
a bigger target, bro. Come on. That's why you gotta see. We always try to prop up activists. We bring people on.
Yeah,
we want
I
to prop
try.
them up, and a shift of public perception on Julian. So I cannot emphasize is because of people like Misty and all your friends, all the people who
Yeah, there's a lot of people. It's not just me. It makes me very
That's
uncomfortable.
why I want to make sure I add that part.
Yes.
I know you got lists, but we don't want to list.
No, because I'll forget people and then I feel really bad.
You guys know who you are.
Yes, you do.
You know who you are. And I always love talking about this, raising awareness on this. I'm glad that public opinion is starting to shift. Even you have the mainstream media, now that the damage is done on Julian Assange.
Don't get me started.
The damage is already done. So that's why they saying, oh, we should now free Julian Assange. So now the media class is starting to panic a little bit. Now I'm talking about the liberal authoritarians, right? They freaking out the Elon poll. And now they had this event. This is a media event where they invited a CIA spook to essentially justify why they should kill and torture Julian
It's at the Hayden Center. They didn't just invite CIA spooks. It's at the Hayden Center. Michael Hayden. Like this is Spook Central. You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw immediately, my friend Paula sent this to me, and she's like, she's out of Boston. If you're in Boston, Boston has a very regular group of activists that go out. I think they go out like twice a week on Mondays, mostly in downtown Boston. If you're in the Boston area, go. And they do work all the time, stuff all the time. They have something coming up Saturday, all kinds of stuff all the time. But yeah, my friend Paula sent me the thing, like the invitation or whatever, and she was like, we were talking about, and all right, we gotta try to get a whole bunch of Assange activists. We got to try to get DC people in the room. We got to try to get Assange activists in the chats, because this is going to get spun. And it sure did. It was a shit show. It was so ridiculous, the kind of bullshit that they were trying to pass off. But there were some amazing people in the audience who were able to ask questions at one point and were able to get some really decent pushback points. And Max fucking Blumenthal.
Yeah, I'm so happy we have Max in this audience. So I'm glad he was able to provide some context. Let's get into the video. I think we got a lot of pretext there. They have this CI guy who's disgusting. Mm-hmm. I'm glad Max was there. Let's watch the video. I think there's like 2-3 parts in here. I'll watch the first part and I'll give you a take, and then we watch the next. Yeah, I think there are 2 parts in this. So let's dive into the first one first here.
I am a gentleman here. Thank you. Max Blumenthal, the Gray Zone from here in Washington, D.C. The U.S. government used as one of its key witnesses against Julian Assange an Icelandic criminal named Siggi Þórðarson, who was a known and confessed pedophile who attempted to pay children for sex, was considered a sociopath by psychologists during a review, and confessed to lying about Julian Assange, specifically directing him to hack the personal devices of Icelandic reporters, contributing to the indictment. He lied. He admitted to lying, this pedophile. Mark Zaid, on February 10th, 2018, you tweeted that you have gotten security clearances for guys with child porn problems. So I guess I'll give this question to you. Do you think the US government's recruitment of a pedophile and confessed liar harms the credibility of the case against Julian Assange? And what do you think about the tactic of the U.S. government's tactic of recruiting pedophiles as witnesses against Julian Assange?
So he's gonna get to the answer in the next clip.
Yeah.
Before he answers, do you want to provide some context behind what Max is talking about? I know you love talking about this.
Yeah.
Talk about the pedophile and the straight up lying psychopath that the United States government used as their chief witness against Assange. And this is something that every single person, like if you're someone who's an advocate of torturing and killing Julian Assange, you need to answer this question. You need to acknowledge this. But anyway, Misty, before we get to the guy's response, do you want to add on to that? Before we
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I do. And first of all, like watching this thing, it was a shit show. Like my blood was boiling multiple different times. I was like,
I didn't watch the whole thing yet.
It's not good. Like it took the Fed 2 minutes to say Julian Assange was a Russian asset. Like
Oh,
2 minutes
Jesus
into his,
Christ.
and
Once
he
again,
opened with,
how does that matter?
I know,
Once
I
again,
know.
I'm
He's
sorry.
not
Go
in
ahead, Misty.
prison for Russia stuff, but he opens up his thing with like, I just want to say that I'm here on behalf of myself. I'm not speaking for the government, and then goes into like launch into the government's propaganda
What a
whole
piece of
position.
shit.
Yeah, and then it took 2 minutes for him to bring Russia into the thing. But anyways, the Siggy Thordarson thing. So Max is absolutely right. Last year, in Stundin, Stundin, it's an Icelandic magazine. They published an article, which was an interview, a very in-depth interview with Siggy Thordarson, who was at one time like a low-level volunteer at WikiLeaks. In fact, he was convicted for embezzling $50,000 from WikiLeaks. And he's a piece of shit. I'm not saying that lightly. Career criminal. Like I said, convicted of embezzling money from WikiLeaks. He's a convicted pedophile, as Max mentioned there. When he was going through that legal process, he was also evaluated and shown to be a diagnosed sociopath. And this is who the FBI got to give fabricated testimony about Julian Assange for the superseding indictment. So that's who the government works with in order to manufacture a case against Julian Assange, is a convicted they gave him immunity. A convicted pedophile. And Max is that he's very right. And people don't talk about this aspect of it very often because it just came out last year. And of course it was pretty much, swept under the rug by mainstream media. They didn't really breathe a word of it. It's very rarely asked. Actually, it's really never asked about. The only time it's ever brought up is when somebody in the family or somebody, an activist or something, tries to bring it up. And Max is absolutely right. And also he's right about Mark Zaid, who is like a lawyer who represented numerous spooks. And again, guys, as he tweeted out in 2018, who have child pornography problems or issues, I think he called it, like bragged about getting those kinds of people security clearance. And so kudos to Max. And like I said, this whole event was pissing me off. And as soon they were like, we're going to take questions from the audience. And I heard Max's voice and I was like, yes. Yes. I was so excited because Max doesn't take any shit. And he takes the same shit I do because people say that we're too confrontational or we're too mean or whatever, that we should like kiss people's asses or whatever.
Politics bullshit.
Yeah.
And they use civilian politics to try to stop people like Max and Misty from doing what they do best.
Yeah. And listen, you don't have to agree with my tactics. I'm not asking everybody to do what I do, but
I agree with it.
I don't answer to you. You're not the boss of me. I get to handle myself the way I want to handle myself. And you can disagree with it. And there may be times that I get it wrong, but you don't get to tell me what to do for sure. But Max takes that same heat because he's very upfront about this stuff and regularly calls out mainstream media. And I don't have patience for them. I tried being nice. If you look back at my tweets years ago, I was nice at one point. I'm not nice anymore. I'm out of nice.
Yeah, fuck
but yeah, as soon as I heard Max's voice, I was very excited. And that's why he directed that question at Zaid, because he has bragged about getting those kinds of people security clearance. And his answer is kind of funny.
Yeah, let's get into his bullshit answer. This is hard to get through. Let's see how long we can get into this before Misty rages out on us.
I'll be quiet.
The main practice there is handling security clearance cases. And there are a lot of allegations, unfortunately, involving child pornography. The vast majority of which never turn out to be child pornography. They turn out to be just adult pornography that a polygraph examination has led for someone to speculate about. I don't make any decisions.
But just to be clear, in the tweet, you said that those guys have problems with child porn issues. Like you made a conclusion that they had those problems, not the judge. That was your conclusion.
Yeah.
So Max has to interrupt him. Max has to interrupt him because he was filibustering in the first part of his answer. So if he didn't really know what he said, it's not that important because he was just trying to waste time. And Max like, wait.
What he said was bullshit. He said he said was, yes, I have dealt with, I've worked on cases where people have had there's been allegations of a child pornography problem. And most of the time that doesn't even turn out to be a child pornography problem. It turns out to be an adult pornography problem.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like this guy to talk to Eliza Blue, because there's a huge child pornography problem. And this guy has obviously and admittedly and almost braggingly worked for those guys and helped them get security clearance.
Jesus
So
Christ.
yeah, that's he started off with like bullshit. Like yeah.
I bet you this guy believes that Epstein killed himself. All right, let's continue the video.
And I'm telling you, I don't make any decisions about security clearances. The U.S. government makes a decision about security clearance.
But you decided to help
point.
pedophiles.
Anyone who I have represented who has had an issue, whether it's child pornography, adult pornography, criminal history, alcoholism, foreign national context, I make my case as a lawyer. This is Barry does in his case for his clients. And then the authorities make the decision. In that case, the U.S. government. The reality is, in a lot of criminal cases, a lot of the witnesses are not the best and nicest people. I don't know anything particular, personal about this individual. I have no doubt that if Assange is brought here, Barry will do his best, capably and competently, to attack the credibility of this particular witness. And at the end of the day, the facts.
He said attack the credibility. He said, I know if Julian Assange comes here, you guys will try your best to attack the credibility of this pedophile.
Of a pedophile.
Do
How
you get
dare
that,
us?
Misty? I'll go back. I want you guys to hear that part again.
Assange is brought here, Barry will do his best, capably and competently, to attack the credibility of this particular witness.
What
The credibility of the lying psychopath.
The guy.
Pedophile.
The credibility of the guy who just gave not even a year ago a long form hours. These journalists spent hours. He brought them diary entries, audio evidence, all kinds of stuff to back up his story. Now, like, this isn't just like, oh, it's a pathological liar and maybe he's lying again. No, he brought receipts and was like, hey, I was given immunity by the FBI and they told me to lie about this information about Julian Assange, and so I did. We're going to attack the credibility of that guy. Go fuck yourself. Yes, I'll be attacking that guy's credibility. Absolutely. Every time. Convicted pedophile, diagnosed sociopath, and known liar. Yeah.
And these people are psychopaths. I should have got the video of Stella Assange destroying Bolton.
Oh my God, it was so good.
I might have to find it because it fits well with our next segment too.
It's
because
delicious.
these people are psychopaths because they almost like they're mocking Assange and his supporters.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, well, if you guys want a fair trial, why are you afraid to come to the United States?
I don't even want to hear that anymore. A fair trial cannot fucking happen. It's impossible. Are you joking me? They were spying on his conversations with his legal team inside the Ecuadorian embassy through UC Global, which is a Spanish security firm, which Mike Pompeo has been subpoenaed to the Spanish High Court to give testimony on that in June. Like, that's a thing that has happened. He can get a fair trial. They were spying on his legal conversations. You cannot get the people he's going up against in court were listening in on his conversations with his legal defense. A fair trial is out the fucking window. That's a massive rights violation. Are you joking? That alone should be enough to throw this case out and light it on fire. Period. The fact that we're even still having the debate about whether or not he can get a fair trial, first of all, in the Eastern District of Virginia, nobody wins there. In espionage court, nobody wins there. Are you joking? It's just so absurd. The whole thing is so absurd. Sorry, get fired up again.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. That's why we have you on. So that's Max calling him out, and I found the video, and this is a great way to get to our next segment because we're gonna talk about John Bolton having the audacity of thinking that he's not one of the most unpopular public figures out there. But before we get to that video, let's show you guys Stella Assange bring it to John. The audacity of John Bolton thinking that he can spread his bullshit to her face. And we covered this before, but why not watch this video again before we get into John Bolton's ridiculousness?
Yeah.
So let's watch this video.
He's committed clear criminal activity. He's no more a journalist than the chair I'm sitting on. The information that he divulged did, in fact, put many people in jeopardy. It undercut the ability of the United States to have confidential diplomatic communications, not just with other foreign governments, but in many countries with dissidents, people who even speaking to American diplomats could find themselves in trouble. And so, you know, he's been complaining about his treatment over the past period of time. He's the one who sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy. Now he faces extradition to the United States. I presume he will get due process in the United Kingdom to determine whether extradition should go forward. And when he gets to the United States, he'll get due process here. And I hope he gets at least 176 years in jail for what he did.
Stella?
You see how they pretend that Julian Assange will get fair trial here in this country? Well, we all know that's not the case. But
There's so much lies in that like
so much
minute and 15 seconds or whatever he was just talking, like so much bullshit. But Stella's gonna break down some of it. She's gonna break down some of it.
Yeah, so let's listen, Stella, and I'll give you him, Misty, because I know you raging. I know you raging.
Well, of course, Ambassador Bolton is kind of the ideological nemesis of Julian. He has, during his time for the Bush administration and later the Trump administration, sought to undermine the international legal system, ensure that the U.S. is not under the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction. And if it was, Mr. Bolton might, in fact, be prosecuted under the ICC. He was one of the chief cheerleaders of the Iraq War, which Julian then exposed through these leaks. So he has a conflict of interest here.
Bam!
Absolutely obliterated. And if you guys didn't see the full clip, the only thing that Bolton did is probably he does this awkward laugh, and then he immediately pivots. Because what can you say? What can you say about that?
She's right. He is one of the guys who worked to, if you guys don't know, this is a real thing. We basically have said that we're not subject to international law anymore. And if they dare to come for us, then we will actually invade the Netherlands. If they arrest any American, anybody from our country for actual war crimes or anything that we actually have done, because there's no greater offender on planet Earth than the United States of America. No greater human rights violator. There's no bigger group of war criminals. That's period. There's no debate for that. And so, yeah, he's one of the guys who helped manipulate the system and just basically said, we're not subject to international law and we'll do whatever the fuck we want. And he's a war criminal. And he knows it. And, he's doing this dance around all this stuff. The United States government has admitted in court on more than one occasion that they cannot provide any evidence whatsoever that anybody was put in danger through WikiLeaks, anything that was released through WikiLeaks. They've admit that happened in Chelsea Manning's trial. That has happened in Julian's court proceedings. They have on numerous occasions admitted that they have no evidence to support that claim. And John Bolton goes on national TV, and I know that he knows that. He's not dumb. Like, he knows that that is a thing that has happened, and that in court they have said, we don't have any evidence to support that. But he repeats it on national television because he knows there are going to be people who hear that, and then they will believe it. And that is exactly what is happening. That's a lot of the people that I talk to. Well, that's one of the number one smears against Julian Assange, is that he released things recklessly and put people's lives in danger. No, he didn't. Like, just recently with the New York Times and the Guardian and El País, Der Spiegel, and Le Monde all coming out in his defense, in that open letter that they did, there's a paragraph in there where they talk about how Julian was reckless and like released unredacted cables. And that's why it pisses me off. The Guardian signed that letter, and that paragraph is included in there. You want to know who released the encryption key to unredacted cables? Guardian journalists. That's who did it. David Lee and Luke Harding. That's who released. They're dumb fuckers. They use the password, the encryption key, as the name of a chapter of one of their books. The entire encryption key, because what happened was some of it was written down, some of it was given to them written down, and then Julian Assange verbally gave them the rest of it and was like, can you remember this? And that's a security measure to make sure that the entire thing is not written on paper, right? And so rather than just like publishing just the written down part or whatever, they published the whole fucking password. And then they try to blame Julian Assange, and then they come out and they sign this letter of support 12 fucking years too late. And they want to include a paragraph where it says that, oh, he was so reckless in releasing unredacted cables. Go fuck yourselves. That was you. And but they don't want to say that. They don't want to tell that part of the story. So yes, this shit pisses me off. Nobody was put in danger through Julian Assange's releases at WikiLeaks. They've admitted that in court. It's all bullshit. And John Bolton just repeats it, because if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes the truth.
Yeah, and Misty is not going to allow you to spread that bullshit.
No.
Especially not on Assange. That's why I'm glad to have Misty here to break this shit down. We know that John Bolton played a key role in pushing for the prosecution of Julian Assange. That's why it was extremely cathartic to see Stella smack him down there. Big shout out to Black and Empire for the $2 super chat. Friend the show. Always kills it.
I love you too, homie.
Yeah, I have some more super chats. I'm gonna get to the super chats after we do the other stories we have here?
We're trying to get through the stories.
Yeah, let me know how you doing on time, Missy. Let me know how you
No, I'm
doing.
good. I'm fine. I'm fine.
You good? All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm good.
We always
good.
go over it.
We do.
Every single time.
I always come ready. I'm always like, he's gonna tell me an hour, but it's not gonna be an hour.
It's because you're a homie. You're a homie. We know you. We know you can tough it out.
Yeah.
So this is the guy who want to run for president. He played a chief role in getting the United States into the war in Iraq, and his ideology is particularly disgusting because he has the old school Henry Kissinger style approach. You know, the mentor of Hillary Clinton. His argument was that we shouldn't feel bad and we shouldn't attach morality to the actions that states take. Meaning that if you're a state and you're imperial, we should expect that.
Yeah.
Thus, we shouldn't apologize for it. This is an ideology that Henry Kissinger proudly boasted and spread among Washington, D.C.
Well, if you don't remember, like this is the same guy who not that long ago, I don't remember how long ago, but maybe 6 months ago or so, bragged about how hard coups were. It's really hard to commit a coup, you guys.
Yes.
Like it takes work. Like you have to be really good at it. Like do you guys remember that guy? That's this guy. That's who this is. Like, oh, but coups are a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. You should give me credit. It's a lot of work. That's who this is.
Since you mentioned that, this is a clip of John Bolton just nonchalantly admitting to violating international law and violating the sovereignty of the country. He's like, yeah, well, I'm responsible for planning coups.
Not an attack on our democracy. It's Donald Trump looking out for Donald Trump. It's a once in a lifetime occurrence.
I don't know that I agree with you. To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'état, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he.
It's so hard, you guys.
What?
You got to be smart like me. You got to be smart like me to coup people.
So Jake, please ask a follow up. Please, like, imagine if that was any rational person. Like, when you do, I worked hard on coups. What you just say? Explain that.
Yeah, you need to say, I'm sorry. Can you elaborate on that? Would you like to explain which coups you took part in? So that he knows that because John Bolton manipulated the system, he knows that he can say that out loud, and nothing will ever happen to him. He will never have to go to the internet. He won't spend 1 second in a prison cell, not even in a courtroom. He won't even step foot inside a courtroom to be held accountable for this shit. And he knows it. That's why he's so comfortable saying it out loud. And Jake Tapper is so comfortable sitting there like a dumb fuck with the thumb up his ass, not pushing back at all. Because why bother? It's just, that's normal. That's just the way things operate.
You guys realize John Bolton's criticism of Donald Trump is essentially he's not unhinged enough.
Yes.
You guys realize that is what he literally says stuff like Donald Trump is so unhinged, he's so dumb, he's unorganized. If we're gonna go to war with Iran, we don't want to go to war with Iran with Trump in charge.
We need a smart psychopath, not a dumb one. Come on.
He's like, do we really want to go to war with China with Trump in charge?
Right?
Like, that's his criticism of Trump. That he's not good
point,
enough.
Nick. That's such a good point. That's exactly what he's saying.
He says that all the time. He essentially his argument that Trump is too unhinged and not organized and disciplined enough to be the manager of this unhinged empire. Let's continue. Let's continue the video, and I'm gonna show you guys the video where he speculates his announcement because I think we prefaced his comment a lot already.
Other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around. Coup. I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'état, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea.
I love how he was like, not here. Trump.
Yeah, not here, guys.
I want to do it here. I only do it on.
I only do it on other countries. I only do it on other people.
So ridiculous. This dude is so fucking ridiculous.
And Americans will be like, "Oh, that's totally acceptable." You know what I mean? It's fine. He's not cooing us. Like, it's fine. What's your problem?
Jake Tapper's like, look at this reasonable guy. I wish we had him.
Right?
All right, let's continue.
Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt. But not to overthrow the Constitution, to buy more time to throw the matter back to the states to try and redo the issue. And if you don't believe that, you're going to overreact. And I think that's a real risk for the committee, which has done a lot of good work, mostly when the witnesses testify, not when the members.
So nothing else of interest there. But you see how he said he bring up January 6th, and he's one of those January 6th people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Trump is so evil because of January 6th. It's like, motherfucker, look at what you did to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Like the democracy and region destabilizing actions of you.
Yeah.
It like January 6th is child play compared to this. Look at it. John Bolton admits U.S.-backed coup in Venezuela is about oil.
Yes, he just says it
not
out loud.
democracy.
He just says it out loud because he can. And again, like that, I'm not trying to say that because here come the people be like, oh my God, they're making excuses for Trump. They're saying that Trump. No, I'm just saying John Bolton is way fucking worse. I don't think that's up for debate. He's fucking
As
crazy.
bad as it gets.
Yes.
As bad as it gets.
Yes, because he's right. Trump is kind of a moron, and he's loud, and he doesn't know. He has no gift for subtlety. We're gonna take the royal. You know what I mean? He says it out loud. Like he's just so dumb, and he's just, and he again, he's not making any decision. He wants no part in it. He just wants to show up and somebody tell him where to stand, and you know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to actually do any of like work.
So the new
Trump doesn't want to do any work.
So the new psyop going on with John Bolton and these war hawks and their angle they're going to try and use to attack Trump because Trump apparently posted something on Truth Social about the Constitution, and everyone been melting down about like Trump said he wanted to disband the Constitution, and now you have John Bolton that said, I'm gonna step in here because we got to stand up for this Constitution. It's like, motherfucker, you want to arrest and imprison Julian Assange. That is against the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Dude, he doesn't give a shit about the Constitution. None of them do. The Constitution is something they hide behind. They only care about furthering their own agenda. They don't care who they'll spit on the Constitution, take a piss on it, and then set it on fire. They don't give two fucks about the Constitution. That's something they hide behind because it appeals to their base. John Bolton knows that appeals to his base of conservative Republicans and people who love the military-industrial complex and all. That's the audience. And so if he like you said, he wants to break the Constitution in his own ways. You know what I mean? Like he's got no problem spitting on the Constitution. None. It's a game. It's a game.
That's why it drives me crazy because we have these criticisms of Trump, but when every single time the liberals and the neocons criticize Trump, I'm like, you guys are guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Because they're taking this Truth Social post where he said I don't even know because I didn't look into it. Like he made an argument that because he was robbed that he should throw out the Constitution, and now everyone melting down like, see, I told you guys this is why Trump is a unique threat. And I'm like, okay, even if you're right and Trump is a threat to the Constitution, you are too.
Yeah.
As I said before, everything they say that apply to Trump applies to them.
What Constitution, y'all? They're spying on you. We live in a police state. I mean, come on. Like, we don't really have a Constitution. I mean, it's a joke at this point.
It's a myth.
It is a myth. It's a myth. It's something that they use to maintain power and control. That's what I'm saying. Like it's all of this shit's a distraction. Trump saying that distraction. That that is 100% him just knowing how to get attention. It's all a game, and none of that. You really think that matters? Like, do you really think that matters? How is that impacting your life right now? I mean. Yeah, we're about to head into war with Russia and China and Iran. We're occupying numerous countries. We're participating in numerous genocides. We're torturing and imprisoning journalists all over the place. We're poisoning our own citizens with water. Do I need to continue like this? All this drama. Like I said, it's like Kanye West saying some dumb shit. I don't give a fuck what Kanye West has to say. He's like some rapper. Like, I don't care. How is that helping anybody get healthcare? How is that helping to stop World War III? How is that helping?
You see the capitalists love talking about it. That's why.
Of course they do, because it prevents people from looking at the actual issues. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all that is. It's just like, let's throw this little shiny little thing over here to get everybody looking over here so that we can continue to rape, pillage, and plunder. You know what I mean? That's all that is.
So this is John Bolton. And I saw this clip earlier, and I have almost like I have a lot of disdain for this lady. I know I won't say as much as John Bolton because I hate him as much as anyone else. But look at this propaganda. I want you to keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
This clip, because she is playing a very meticulous role here, and she knows what she's doing. And I just want to say this because watch her role
during this conversation. And so
You've just made some news there. You are essentially telling us that you would consider getting into the 2024 race. for president.
Absolutely. I think to be a presidential candidate, you can't simply say, I support the Constitution. You have to say, I would oppose people who would undercut it. You know, we used to have a thing in the House of Representatives called the House Un-American Affairs Committee. I think when you challenge the Constitution itself the way Trump has done, that is un-American.
Let's stay here for a moment. Just walk me through your thinking. What does your timeline look like? What would cause you to cross into?
What kind of fucking question is that? And I'll tell you, Misty, I might be an asshole, but when I watched the clip, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her?
She's a robot, dude. Like, seriously,
my
I'm not
God.
trying to be mean. I don't know her. I'm not familiar with her work. I don't watch MSNBC. I honestly don't even know her name. But just look at the way that look at her. There's no independent thought. She is reading what has been given to her by her bosses. She doesn't have a clue in the world. She probably knows nothing about John Bolton or like what he's done.
She has
or,
no idea about anything that's going on.
No, like that's how these people get these jobs. It's are you attractive? And will you sit in a chair and read what you're told to read and not question anything?
I know, she's been in media for a long time, and she hasn't aged a bit. I haven't seen her in media, and I'm not dissing her for that. But you guys know that's why she's there. They hire these people that look attractive.
Yeah.
Not intellectually curious.
No, there's a look. Like you have to
on
have
camera.
specific features. Like there's like the whole trust. Like you have if you have rounded feet, you're more trustworthy. Like there's a whole thing. Like it's very calculated. All of media is incredibly the colors on the set, the outfits that they wear, everything is very calculated. They've studied it all. They understand how it works. They understand how to make people feel things through using different manipulation tactics. Like this is, I know it sounds very conspiratorial, but listen, Noam Chomsky has been telling us about this shit for ages. And I have my problems with Noam Chomsky. Don't come for me. But he's been telling, like, this is like basically a form of mind control. Do you know what I'm saying? They are manufacturing reality. That's what mainstream media is meant to do. They are meant to distract and divide. She is just a cog in the wheel.
So I let it play all the way through. I'll start from the beginning. I just want, like, I remember when I first watched this.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I was more annoyed with her than I was with John Bolton because I was like, what the fuck? And you see, I'll explain more after we finish the clip because you guys see what I'm talking about. We all know John Bolton full of shit. We're going to break that down.
Just watch her.
Watch the whole clip here.
Watch her. Yeah, watch her.
You've just made some news there. You are essentially telling us that you would consider getting into the 2024 race.
Absolutely. I think to be a presidential candidate, you can't simply say, I support the Constitution. You have to say, I would oppose people who would undercut it. You know, we used to have a thing in the House of Representatives called the House Un-American Affairs Committee. I think when you challenge the Constitution itself the way Trump has done, that is un-American.
Let's stay here for a moment. Just walk me through your thinking. What does your timeline look like? What would cause you to cross into saying what you're saying now and actually being a declared candidate for president?
Look, all of the potential candidates know what Trump has said. This is no secret to anybody. I don't see why they aren't saying it right now. I think the voters, the Republican voters, people who choose the Republican nominee, nearly 95% disagree that Donald Trump is more important than the Constitution. I'm afraid there are some who would stick with Trump on this. What does a candidate have to lose by appealing to 95% of the base of the Republican Party? I actually think most Republican elected officials in Washington disagree with Trump on this, but they're intimidated. This is the time where there's strength in numbers. The more people who tell the truth, the easier it is for everybody else.
So what do you have to see that would make you say, now is the moment that I am going to?
She just asked the same question twice.
Do you have any other fucking questions?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'll cut her off. Look, 3 times in a row she asked this.
Now is the moment that I am going to declare my candidacy.
I'd like to see.
She's like, where's your timeline? He answers again.
What would it take to make you actually enter the race? Who gives a fuck?
Do you have
What-
another question? Like, it's
Why don't you
literally
ask him
2020.
where he stands on what his specific plan to deal with Russia, China, and Iran is? Why don't you ask him what his plan is to deal with any number of issues? There's a whole lot of shit you could be asking about instead of asking the same question 3 different times using different
legitimately asked
words.
the same 3 times
And
in a row.
seriously, if you watch her, everything is very rehearsed. Her, like the nodding of her head, the way she enunciates her words, the way that she leans into him and looks very thoughtful and pensive. Like that's all of this stuff. They're actors. Like these are actors. They're not journalists. Like that's Mehdi Hassan put out something the other day about how Elon Musk won't talk to any journalists. I'm like, honey, who you think you're talking about?
Yeah.
You're not a journalist. You haven't been for a long time. Like you are a paid propagandist, my friend.
And
They
that
don't
billionaires
know
in
that.
general. So
Yeah.
here's the ghetto supercut. Let's watch what I'm talking
You've just made some news there. You are essentially telling us that you would consider getting into the 2024 race. for president.
Absolutely. I think
Let's stay here for a moment. Just walk me through your thinking. What does your timeline look like? What would cause you to cross into saying what you're saying now and actually being a declared candidate?
Republican elect Washington, but they're intimidated. There's strength in numbers. The easier it is.
Do you have to see
Washington disagree with Trump on this, but they're intimidated. This is the time where there's strength in numbers. The more people who tell the truth, the easier it is for everybody else.
So what do you have to see that would make you say, now is the moment that I am going to declare my candidate?
She's essentially begging him. What? Come on, announce. Are you running for president? Are you running for president? Come on, I want the scoop. Say it on my show.
Yeah.
Either I'm not sure yet. No, come on. When? Give me the timeline, please. Well, come on. Are you running? Are you running? Shut up. Ask a normal question. You fucking robot.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I want to add this as well, and I'll get you back in here as well. Look at the delusion. The delusion that he somehow is going to peel Trump base. Ron DeSantis has the best chance, and even he had an uphill climb.
Yeah.
John Bolton has the ego where he think he come out of nowhere and win this. And that was my response to him was, I hope, I look like the corporate media person, I hope he runs. Because I said, like, he put him on the spotlight.
Yeah, I would love for him to run so that I can publicly call out his war crimes as loud as humanly possible so that we can expose him for, you know what I mean? Like, that's like Mike Pompeo. Run, motherfucker. Let's go.
Go ahead, give me the content, Bo.
Yes,
if he runs,
please.
Those segments are coming every week. Like,
Because
give
these
us a
people-
reason to expose you.
These
And the
people
people can
are
go
able
ahead.
to float under the radar. You know what I mean? Because they're not super public. Like, and a lot of people on the right will like somebody like Mike Pompeo because they don't really know anything about him or what he's actually responsible for, like the things that he has done. So if you're going to run for president, then all that stuff comes out. All your skeletons come out. And I mean, I will love calling them out. You guys know, Mike Pompeo literally plotted to murder Julian Assange. You don't think I'm going to follow him around screaming at the top of my lungs for his entire
Exactly.
candidacy? Of course I am. And lots of other people will do it too. Like,
Let's
he
go.
is a fucking psychopath. He needs to be exposed. And it would be great if we could start holding these people accountable. Can we do that? Can we just try that for a little bit? See how it goes?
Well said, my friend. We gotta do this again soon. We gotta get Fiorella on here because last
Yes.
time we had Fiorella on, we gotta do another Misty, Fiorella, and Nick show. I always like to do these every few weeks. So great to have you back on, Misty.
Thanks
Where
for
can they
having me.
find you?
I'm not really so
Thumbs
much
up.
worried about you. If you want to find Assange information, you can follow me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. I tweet about it all the time. But that's really not as important as all of the things that you can be doing right now because this week, as we mentioned, there were 5 the publishing partners for Cablegate, which with the 12-year anniversary was just this past Monday. They sent out that ridiculous letter of support. But listen, it's something that we can capitalize on. And so I think that gives us an opportunity here where we can start contacting local newspapers and sending them that article and being like, look, the New York Times totally supports Julian Assange now. Why don't you add your name? Why don't you add your publication to the list of supporters? You know what I mean? So I have like a monster thread of like 3 or 4 different contact information for different publications from each state in alphabetical order. You can go to the thread, just pick a couple each day, send them an email. There's also, my friend Paula came up with like a little sample email. It's rather long. There are multiple points of information that you can include, but you don't have to include all of them. Just pick a couple that catch your eye or that mean something to you. Include those in your letter. Send them the New York Times and the Guardian and all the 5 people. Send them that piece. Encourage them to put their name out there or their publication out there in support of Assange as well. So that's one thing that you can do. So we can try to capitalize on the newspapers, the global newspapers coming out in support. Also, this Saturday, December 10th, there are events taking place all over the globe. Lanterns for Assange. My friend Truman always starts out. He has these great ideas. And so there are events taking place all over the world. My friend Alex runs Candles for Assange. It's on Twitter and Facebook. It's the number 4, Candles for Assange. So you can go there, and she has like a hyper thread of all of the different events happening. So you can try to find one near you. If there is not one near you, you can always be an event near you. I say all the time, it takes a poster board, a Sharpie, and a sidewalk. Instant protest. And you can light a lantern. Even if you can't like go out and be somewhere, just light a lantern at your house or a candle at your house and tweet it out. Trying to get this stuff trending and take advantage of the fact that it has been trending all week, and trying to capture some more of that attention, I think is really beneficial. And what am I forgetting? There was one more thing. There was a third thing. Shit, you guys.
You're a machine. You're a machine, Misty.
Huh?
You're a machine. You're on fire.
I'm supposed to be taking a break. This is my break. There's something else that you can fucking do, and I can't remember now. Newspapers, that was a good thing. Pressure Elon Musk some more. He still hasn't formed an opinion, apparently. So tweet at him. Yeah, still, despite the fact that over 80% of his poll showed support for Julian Assange, he still has not come out publicly with an opinion. So pressure him a little bit. And you can also, if you want to, contact the Guardian and tell them to take down their Paul Manafort story. That's always something you can do. That's still up after over 4 years. So yeah, there's lots of things you can do. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm always tweeting about it. You can help me out, help us out. And then also don't forget people like Daniel Hale and Leonard Peltier, especially Leonard. I mean, obviously they're all important, but he's getting older and he's in poor health. And it's 45 years. I said that 45 years that he's been in prison now. So I also have a graphic out with the phone number for the White House comment line. If you guys can start making some phone calls and really putting pressure on them to pardon him, whatever, clemency, I don't care. Just get him home so he can live out the remainder of his life with his relatives. He shouldn't be in prison. It's ridiculous. 45 years is far too long. He shouldn't have spent 45 seconds in prison, but whatever. So yeah, I also have that graphic out. I'll retweet it so everybody can find that too. But yeah, it's just like a simple, I'm not under any delusion that I think phone calls are going to be any great game changer, but it's really easy. Like that's something really easy that everybody can do. It takes 2 minutes. And if a lot of us call, maybe we can make a dent somewhere. We have to try. We can either give up and die, or we can fight back.
Yeah, well said, my friend. And we just have a few super chats I want to make sure we get through.
To help with the grifting.
I love our community here. I appreciate the super chat to help with the grifting. How dare those working class Black people get
Damn you, Nick.
very small
What, you want to eat? You want to eat? What the fuck's wrong with you?
How dare I have bills? How dare I'm not homeless? There are people that think they're socialists who don't want people to get the fair labor value.
Right?
That. Like, I thought we were supposed to be arguing for people to get their fair labor value.
Right?
But people they were like, how dare you not have a corporate job? How dare you not work for the man? How dare you own the means of your production?
You're trying to make your own way outside of the corporate structure, and you're trying to educate and inform people, and you're doing it. You're not forcing anybody. Aaron, did anybody hold a gun to your head and make you donate $1.99 to RBN? I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. So if you don't like Nick and you don't like his message, guess what? You don't have to watch. You don't have to donate.
I thought the anti-capitalist thing to do was to withhold your labor, because that is what I've been doing.
Right?
Guys. I've been very open. I used to sell cars. I'm not doing that shit again.
Yeah.
I'm withholding my labor because I was ripped off, and I watched constant customers get ripped off. And I know you guys are frustrated at your car salesman, but I'm telling you guys, someone who was inside, like 80% of us want to do well by you guys.
Yeah.
The system was, there is only one person who wins in the car deal, and that's the manager.
Yeah.
We got screwed. You guys got screwed. And a lot of time we were trying to stop you guys from getting screwed. Yeah. It's a long, complicated game. I know there's some sleazy car salesmen. I'll tell you guys, there are a lot of people who just try and do well by the customers and pay their bills. And I was one of those people. I saw a lot of people get ripped off. I got ripped off. So I think I was like, fuck this shit. I'll withhold my labor. I'll figure some shit out. So anyway, no, it makes sense to
Claire Daly's amazing. Claire Daly regularly mentions Julian Assange on the floor. I'm not joking. I would say at least, I mean, sometimes even once a week. I would say at least twice a month, Claire Daly mentions Julian Assange on the floor in Parliament.
Yeah, I was
She
going
is
to play
a fucking
that.
badass.
Yeah, that was one of the segments that we cut. I was gonna play that. I might play it on our next show, but she's always on fire.
Yes.
I saw that clip that you referring to. Thank you for the $5, Miss. Last super chat that I saw, no shade. I'm not trying to skip any. I always tell you guys, I just tag the ones I see. So thank you for the 199 Neo algorithm. Hey Nick, do you see the correspondent I sent? I wanted to check. I always super behind on my messages and stuff. People get so mad at me. I'm trying my best. I don't have like an assistant or anything. So I really try my best. So I'll look for you, Neo. But with that said, Misty, any last thoughts before I pop you out here?
Nope, I don't think so. I think I mean, I'm sure I forgot. I know that there was another action that we had going on that I'm forgetting, and probably somebody's going to yell at me for forgetting. But I can't remember everything. But yeah, the newspaper thing, I'll retweet that link on my Twitter. Again, it's at Sarcasm Stardust, so you guys can find that. It's a massive thread. Just if you want to pick the ones in your state, that's fine. But I don't think it matters. Just start sending them letters and encouraging them to add their voice and support. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to rant with you. I'm sorry that it always goes so long.
We do this regularly, so you guys see Misty again soon. Maybe next time I gotta bring the Fiorella Misty panel back. Yeah. We see. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Misty. As you guys, I gotta do my last announcement. Make sure you guys subscribe to our Substack. I've been posting on Discord. Our new Discord launch has been fantastic. Been great talking to you guys on there. So if you guys subscribe to our Substack on our Revolutionary Blackout Discourse, you guys get the link that way as well. And make sure you guys support us on Patreon. I think Nick and CJ tomorrow. We got a lot of great content that's coming every single day. So appreciate you guys. This Social Cinema sign out. Have a good one, guys.